Yo, what's up, Aquatic Squad? It's me, Dolphin Uppercut Avenger, here with our special guest for the evening, Erick from Orca Pins.
Hey, Dolphin, what's going on? Good to be here.
Hey, man. It's crazy. You're on my wall. It's funny because, your wall is now part of my wall.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah. All right, let me step back behind the control panel. So,
So cool.
we've got a bunch of thrilling topics. By the way, if anybody's looking for me, I'm down here in these monitors down here, while I'm behind the control panel. The other way. Yeah, that way. And yeah, we've got a bunch of amazing topics that we came up with over the week. Some submitted by our fans, some me and Erick came up with while we were getting ready for the show. But before we get into that, the first official topic is an introduction from our special guest. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, Topics audience. My name is Erick, and I guess you could say my Instagram bio right now says creative Dharma bum. I'm just a very creative individual who likes to pursue lots of different creative projects, whether it's getting behind a video camera, taking some pictures, making enamel pins, doing a podcast about enamel pins, writing music. I love it all, and that's kind of what I do on top of being a digital media and social media specialist as kind of like my day job. But yeah, I'm a doer of all things.
Awesome. What? Tell us a little bit more about Warrior Pins, because we've got your webpage up right here.
Hey, so Warrior Pins is an enamel pin shop that specializes in really cool pop culture pins. Mainly a lot of stuff based on my love for the Ninja Turtles. I'm a big Ninja Turtle fan. Grew up watching it. Maybe you can kind of tell by the background. I have a lot more toys and stuff like that. But yeah, started the company as just honestly, I wanted to buy new camping equipment. I wanted to get like a nice air mattress, queen-sized air mattress for when I go camping. And I was getting into like the entrepreneur lifestyle and kind of figuring out what I would want to do as a side hustle. And one day I was just kind of scrolling through Instagram and I saw some Ninja Turtle pins. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, because I, like a lot of kids, grew up collecting Disney pins, going out to all the resorts and parks and stuff like that. So there was already kind of, I guess, a history with pins. So flash forward to 2016, I found myself kind of falling back in love with pins. So I ordered a bunch of pins and I was like, oh, hey, I want a pin of a certain character. And I couldn't find one. So I figured out how to make it and found out that other people liked the pin and were buying the pin. And that just kind of started to get the gears rolling. And here we are 5 years later, still churning out pins. They're getting better. They're getting bigger. We're doing stickers and patches. We're getting into apparel this summer. It's been a blessing in disguise, honestly. So many amazing opportunities have come about from the pin shop. Vanilla Ice has some of my pins. There's a picture of him rocking my pins. I've met a couple people from, Ninja Turtle legacy, like the entire timeline, just various voice actors. I got a job at Nickelodeon from being at the right place at the right time and just kind of hustling. Yeah, I mean, the pins have been great and just made so many friends doing it too. Like friends all around the world. And to know that like your pins are around the world is insane. It's still insane to think about, but kind of a lengthy answer.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's like a real real exciting journey thus far. And I remember when I first learned about warrior pins. Actually, I think I might even be able to, if I duck down here and I dig into my aquatic resources. No, I don't.
Oh,
it's not there.
Aquatic resources.
Yeah,
I love you, man.
You know what? It's over here. People from the Aquatic Squad Discord know about my little mood board up here on the wall of the aquarium. But oh, hello, camera. I have a warrior pin from back in the day. I don't even know if this one's still available, or if I can't. You can't see it on camera. Oh, I'll show it to the CRT camera over there. You guys
Hey,
yeah, there it is.
look at that gem. Yeah, that's an OG pin.
Tell me about this pin.
Oh man, so I love orcas. They're my favorite animal by far. They're just so cool, so majestic. And so I had already made an orca pin, and it did pretty well. It was finding like a nice little audience. And I just kind of thought that an orca crossed with bullet bill just made sense in my head. I believe I had a dream about getting chased by these. I don't remember if it was before or after I made the pin, but there was definitely a dream involved with that like image. It was wild. So I remember I contacted a designer to help get it made. I sent her all my sketches and stuff like that because I was still new. I didn't really have a grasp at Illustrator or illustrating digitally. And yeah, it just made that pin. And, you know, it's not like one of the best sellers, but man, it's one of those, if you get it, you get it. If you know, you know.
I love it. It's the reflective kind of like background color. Like usually it's black, or like because it's an orca it's supposed to be like white and black, but you had it made so that it was, and on camera it looks black because what's behind the camera is a black background, but it's actually chrome if I can reflect the light with it. So depending on what it's reflecting, it looks so good.
Yeah, that's exactly like the finish that I was looking for too. After making a handful of pins before making that one, I kind of had a good sense of the different materials that you can get pins made out of, from like black nickel or silver nickel. There's like antique gold. There's all sorts of different finishes. that finish just kind of made sense with that pin. I think I made a shredder pin, and it had that same kind of finish. I'm like, this is cool. It just has like, I don't know, kind of like a premium feel to it. It's cool.
I'm pulling up the shredder pin on your website.
Yeah, so it's the same material, but in order to like, I kind of like with the black darker look. So put a piece of black paper in front of it when taking a picture. But
this pin has 7 5-star reviews, perfect score. Awesome pin, great colors and perfect size to still be inconspicuous enough. Small with big presence, shred head.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, that pin's cool. A bunch of people have picked up that pin. What's really cool, I think someone wore that at their wedding or gave them away to their groomsmen. I know that people have picked up the bandanas for that. I can't remember the name of this Instagram. I think his name is Chris. And he loves like pop culture toys and stuff like that. I think he's got like some sort of TV show or YouTube show, but he wore it on his lapel. It was really cool. It's really cool seeing that, the pins in the wild. Yeah, that's another great fan picture.
Oh, this was a fan picture.
Yeah.
I was going to say like, oh man, Eric, what clever marketing. But I can see now it's from user I collect the things.
Yes, he is. Oh man, he takes some great pictures. Sprinkled them all throughout my website. But like, how creative is that?
That is really fun. I love that.
So like all those interactions happen through the pin business, and it's really cool getting to see just awesome pictures like that and people creating with like my creations.
Oh, that's the best. I know I handed out some talking about that same dynamic. I handed out some of my stems to some exclusive followers of the Dolphin Uppercut Avenger music catalog, and it was really interesting to see what they use those stems for, and some you can find out in the wild places. So that's like a really special thing when people take your work and they send it back to you and they're like, "Look what I did."
It's very cool. It's still wild, man. It's such a sensation to see that, and it hasn't gotten old. And yeah, it's really cool, man. We got to link up about those stems. That would be a lot of fun to mess around with.
Oh yeah, dude. Let me know right after we're done here, and I'll shoot you a little email with a little Dropbox full of stems.
That would be cool. I just got the Boss RC 505 like loop station. It's like the tabletop loop station.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. That thing rips.
That's how I got started with electronic music. I got a looper, and I was like, "What if I put a synthesizer in this?"
Oh man, I would love to see Baby Dolphin messing around.
Oh my God, there's
Such a
definitely
precious,
videos of
innocent image.
Yeah, yeah. But I by the time that I started doing electronic music, people had just like started getting phones and iPods that could like take video. So yes, there are videos of Baby Dolphin touching electronic music for the first time.
Some 320p video out there.
Yeah, exactly. So on the topic of pins and kind of the meta around the enamel pins, what do you feel is the philosophy of the enamel pin? This is one of our topics.
The philosophy of the enamel pin. Well, I've always just kind of had this little motto in my life. It's the little things in life. And that's from just like walking into a bookstore and just like getting a whiff of some books, or like the smell of like opening up some Pokemon cards, or like, I don't know, going out for a matcha latte and just like catching the sunset, just like all these little things. And I found myself feeling that way with pins and looking at pins. I'm like, these little things are bringing such like great joy to my life. So I guess that's kind of how I look at, my pins and just like the pin world in general. Because each pin has its own unique story, right? There's a rhyme and reason to why that pin was created, and it allows the opportunity for a bunch of people to connect with it in tons of different ways. Like, I'm meeting people who tell me that their favorite version of the Turtles was the cartoons, and they would go like on and on about like a certain episode or just like cartoon knowledge and stuff like that. And I love it. And then you have others who are just like, they only want to talk about movies and like the original movies, or how bad the Michael Bay movies were. It just allows people to kind of relate and be happy. Even if it's just for like a fleeting moment, just to look back at that childhood memory and it be like, oh man, like I remember that toy, I remember that movie, mom or dad used to take stuff like that, it all from just a little pin. And whenever they look at it, hopefully that memory pops up in their head and they feel good. So I guess that's how I would answer that question.
I'm with you. That's nice. You said something about like the pins are like a small thing, and it becomes really important to people. And that's actually our next topic, which is little things that you cherish. So obviously, between you and I, we both cherish little pin objects. I cherish the Bullet Bill Orca. By the way, your profile picture in my phone, your contact picture is still a bunch of orcas. Um, while we're here talking about small things we cherish and pins, I climbed back up on the board, on the mood board. I've got a pin from the animation studio Dolja, who I am friends with. They just handed this to me. Alex Pierre, who was also on the show not too long ago. He gave me this pin. I should have brought it up on that show. And then
That looks dope.
I have a bunch of pins that I bought when I took like a corporate office gig, and I was like, I don't want to lose my soul in this gig. So I was like, what could I do? Well, let me get a bunch of enamel pins that I can just like put on my clothes that are like vaporwave themed.
Yes.
So that, I got the classic Macintosh Plus Helios head.
Yes. Love it.
And then he's actually stuck to this larger pin, which is this classic GIF that Studio Cult actually turned into a huge pin with like a cool like printed texture on that fake Windows monitor there.
They make good stuff, Studio Cult.
Yeah, I knew you would know them because of the work that they do with merchandise and pins.
Yeah, I don't think I own any of their pins, but they have a lot of cool like Photoshop pins.
Yeah.
That, like if you're like an avid user, you would totally like understand, what that is, like color palettes and stuff like that.
Exactly. If you look at the word art graphics that I made for the advertisement for the show, they actually have the squiggly blue font, and it just says word art, and they made that a pin.
Yeah, they're cool people. I think I met them at Patches and Pins Expo in New York. But yeah, pins, crazy. Little things in life. Pins. I got some little things for you.
Yeah. Wow. Yo, those are your pins.
So yeah, these are all my pins. All right, check out that shredder pin.
Yeah,
all the
now
way in
you
the
can
top.
really see the reflection.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know, man.
Wait, get real close on the guitar one.
Oh, where are we? Oh, yes.
Yeah, guitar. Woo! That's awesome.
I just love I wanted to find like a cool way to kind of display them around my place without them being on like a pin board.
Yeah.
But pin board, it's got like hundreds of pins on it. It's insane. But you got to fill in the gaps. When you're living by yourself and you have like some extra space, you don't realize like how much you need to fill. I guess you don't need to fill. I guess that's my problem. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
In 5 minutes, we got to reset our video chat here. We got to end the call and start it over again in 5 minutes. I did not know that there was a time limit on this free software.
No problem.
Say what?
No problem.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, little things we cherish. I mean, I really fell in love with enamel pins, and I collected just a small collection of them, and I thought to myself, like, there's so much merchandise out there that like artists sell, like there are like prints and t-shirts, and everybody's got a t-shirt and everybody's got a poster. And then I thought, like, the enamel pin is something that it's got a little weight to it. You hold it in your hand, and you don't want to throw it away. Like, you throw away a t-shirt because it's got holes in it. Maybe you cut it up and you turn it into like kitchen rags. A poster will get like faded, and maybe you'll stick it in like the attic or something. But like pins, they can like be in like your mood board. They could be sitting on your desk next to your computer. They could be like in your drawer of random stuff in your kitchen, the random drawer that everybody has.
You're absolutely right about that.
So I think people will cherish enamel pins, and you find vintage ones, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, there's a market for vintage pins. It's crazy.
Sports
they might
pins
turn
too.
Big time sports pins. The New York Mets have like this super fan. He's known as Pin Guy. He walks
Oh,
around all the games and his jersey is decked out head to toe in pins. Like they got the jerseys have like these thin pinstripes on it.
mhm.
So I don't know how many like there are on a jersey, but there's like a good amount of like pinstripes. He's got pins lined up on all of them. I can't imagine how much that jersey weighs, but I met him. The
Whoa.
one time I go to a Mets game, I met him and I got a picture and just looking at all those pins, a lot of them were vintage and they were all like yellowed out, but like, I don't know. I think he like cleaned them. It was really cool. It was wild.
That's sick
Pin
as hell.
guy.
So there's some more philosophical
Blah, blah, blah,
questions
blah.
or topics that that we were chatting about briefly earlier today. I want to know, what is life according to a pin artisan such as yourself?
It's pretty much like any other day in anyone else's life. You wake up with pins in bed. You wake up, you're pouring a bowl of pins for breakfast in the morning. Um, no, like, I don't know. I kind of have a business mind when it comes to thinking of the pins. Like there's a lot of fun and I get to have so much fun and artistic freedom with the pins, from like doodling in the morning, just like little Ninja Turtle doodles and stuff like that and sharing them along with the positive message. But I just look at it with a business perspective. So I'm always just trying to figure out, how do I get ahead? What designs can I start working on? What pins can I put into production? What am I going to be posting today?
Mhm.
So it's actually pretty distracting because the phone's going off all the time and then you're getting orders and then you're getting emails about it. Like I think about pins pretty frequently. I don't know how many hours. Oh, sorry. I don't know how many hours in the day I spend, but it's definitely like chunks of time throughout the day just spent thinking about pins. How am I going to sell these old pins? What's going to be like? I'm working on pins for July, like trying to just always stay ahead of the curve now. Like that's the way to grow, I think. So,
That's awesome. It's
yeah.
definitely feels like a complete and yet evolving plan for the future.
Yeah, we've come a long way, but like the grind doesn't stop. You just got to keep going.
Oh yeah. All right. My timer just went off for that 5 minutes. So let's end our call and then I'll bring you back in. But before we do, just keep in mind the next topic that we're going to talk about, which is, as I look at the list of topics, bad ideas for a podcast.
Okay.
All right. Let's end this call. I'll talk to you in a second.
All right. Peace.
All right. All right, Aquatic Squad. We jumping back in. We're getting Erick back on the line. I'm going to text him. Jump back in. I think the same login should be available for our friend Erick. Okay. If y'all haven't already, check out warriorpins.com. All of the Warrior Pins social media is linked down here at the bottom of the page. You got to browse past all these amazing products, so definitely check those out while you're on your way to visit the social media. Oh, there. Almost. Erick is connecting. Yes. Okay. All right. There you
Hello.
are. let's bring you back in to the wall of video. Nice. Pin. Okay. You are pinned in the call right up front. Add pin. Good. All right, we're good to go for the rest of topics.
Terrific.
All right. What bad ideas for a podcast do we got?
I actually came up with one.
What do you got?
A discussion or interview based podcast about refrigerator hum.
Whoa. I can imagine like Foley artists and like sound design artists actually going in deep about refrigerator hum, because you can do a lot of sound design and a lot of Foley with just like tones, you know?
Yeah.
If your tone had enough of like a bass frequency, it'd be really easy to make like an 808 with it.
That would be pretty cool. But my girlfriend's refrigerator just makes like the weirdest and loudest noises at the most random time, as I'm sure most refrigerators do. But like this one in particular, it's sounds like someone's like knocking and there's something like gurgling inside the fridge.
Awesome.
Yeah, that would be a pretty boring podcast. What about you? Did you come up with one?
I'm gonna come up with one right now. I'm gonna dig deep into the aquatic resources once again. And Lighthouse Repair.
Oh, I don't know. That might be kind of interesting.
But no history, it's just Lighthouse Repair. We're just repairing lighthouses, searching for parts, technical manuals. That's the podcast. None of the interesting parts about lighthouses. It's unless you're an engineer. If you're an engineer, I think you might find that interesting.
No, you're totally right. I'm thinking in my head we're listening to a fully produced NPR podcast with like music and stuff like that. Maybe you could use a refrigerator hum for like some of the sound design. Yeah, that would be pretty boring though.
Let's come up with one more together. You come up with a base level topic for the podcast, and then I'll add to it, and then you'll add one more layer to it, and that'll be the podcast. So what's the first part of the podcast?
Oh man. I'm looking around to see if something jumps out at me. I don't know. How plastic is made?
Okay. How plastic is made, but all of the speakers and the guests are English as a second language. So none of them speak English natively, but it's an English podcast. They're trying their absolute best. All respect to them, but they're just way out of their league.
Yeah, some of them, unfortunately, some of the guests are just tone deaf.
Oh no!
And and they like to record their podcast every time it thunderstorms.
Wow. That's a very distracting podcast. I would just watch it to root for the podcasters. I'd be like, "You can do it!
Oh,
you got it!"
Into a sympathy story.
Everybody's wondering if like the electricity will go out from the thunderstorm. They're like, oh, "Is the power gonna go out?" It's like the stream flickers in and out. They're like, "Oh my god, it's gonna happen this time."
That's funny. Yeah,
right.
that would be really boring.
Bad idea. It'd be boring and exciting and just really nerve wracking.
Yeah, you'd almost be like invested in their safety.
Yeah, you would. You'd just be concerned the whole time, like a worried parent. Like, what's gonna happen?
Oh boy.
Man.
I hope they didn't leave any appliances plugged in.
Oh man.
Without the surge protector.
Oh man, yeah, you got to get the surge protector. If you're recording streams and podcasts with that much electrical anomalies going on, you got to get the surge protector.
Facts for show.
Let's talk about the Newsletter Hall of Fame. What newsletters make it into the Newsletter Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah, you know what? This is one that I kind of got into recently. I don't know if anyone is familiar with, or if Dolphin, if you are, the Morning Brew.
No, I'm not.
Okay. It's just this like business oriented like newsletter that gets sent out daily, but it's easily digestible, it's easy to read. It touches on like everything kind of happening on in the world, and they talk a lot about business, and they have like little sub newsletters, and they all kind of have like their own niche. One's marketing, one focuses on tech. I think there's one about crypto. But there's one that's just kind of for fun. Just, here's some like interesting stuff. Why don't you check it out? And it's called Sidekick. And if I'm talking it up, please hit me up for a referral link, because if I get 5 friends, I think I get a sticker.
Oh, cool.
So that would be really cool. But so we got one today, and I'll just kind of go through it. So it always starts off with the little memo from the writer, Rachel Cantor.
Shout out to Rachel.
And it's just, it can be funny. So the first thing we're talking about books and podcasts and work. Then we had the live section, and there's a GIF of Elon Musk on SNL, and it's just all these like bullet points. A sentence I thought I'd never write: these gas stations are worth the extra mile, and it's just a link to gas stations that are probably worth the extra mile. Rumor has it this might be the Cybertruck of chocolate chip cookie recipes, and It's a link to make some chocolate chip cookies. It's just a hodgepodge of like all this like kind of cool, interesting things. And I guess if you're in the tech and gadgets and gizmos and I don't know, trying new stuff, there's an ad for Bright Cellars if you like wine. I don't know. I think it's really cool, and it just keeps you like well versed. Like I feel like it's kind of like balanced out, fun part of life,
Yeah, that does sound good. On the topic of the Newsletter Hall of Fame, there's one newsletter that you turned me on to when we were working for the same company, called Word of the Day.
Oh yes, Word of the Day.
And I started an exercise because I am really bad at reading things out loud. And reading in general, like reading books, I'm not good at it because I get to like the end of the line, and then like I'm like reading. I get to the right side of the page, and then my eye just like keeps going, and I just totally zone out. So this is what I'm doing. I'm taking the Word of the Day newsletter in my inbox every single morning, and I'm just reading it out loud. And that's what I do.
All right. Do you think you've expanded your vocabulary? Do you find yourself using these words?
Absolutely not.
Well, I'd say it's still good practice.
Yeah. There are words that like I do know, and I'm just interested to learn like the etymology. That's probably like my favorite part of it. And also the thought of the day at the end. I cherish those.
Yes. Oh man, I stopped subscribing to that. I couldn't keep up with like some of these words, and I think at just one point, you just go on a binge and you like an unsubscribe binge to your email. I think it didn't make the cut.
God damn.
God yeah. But I'm glad I turned you on to that.
Hell yeah.
I should probably just subscribe to it right now
Ah,
and get back on it. Knowledge is power. I love learning new words.
hell yeah. So, before we talk about the next Hall of Fame newsletter, we've got a quick message from our sponsor for tonight. Here, I'm bringing up the logo. This is our sponsor for tonight. Those of you who have talked to me about the field of arts education, MC Squared Funding the Arts is a local New Jersey arts education organization. They do fundraising and they give money directly to young students and up-and-coming artists in New Jersey. They do some really important work, and they connected with me just this morning to say that they wanted to sponsor 10 topics on tonight's episode of Topics with Erick. So, shout out to MC Squared Funding the Arts. Y'all are the realest. You're doing some really important work. Let's make sure we keep art education in schools, and let's make sure we continue to support all of the young and up-and-coming artists in New Jersey and around the world. So that's that. So I want to hear, as we wrap up this topic from the Newsletter Hall of Fame, you told me about a newsletter this morning that had some conversation starters. That wasn't.
Yeah.
We weren't. Is that the same one we were just talking about? Okay.
Yep,
Sidekick. And were there any on that newsletter, any conversation starters that you thought were perfect for tonight?
Oh, I should probably pull it up on my phone, shouldn't I?
I could pull it up too. I'm gonna look.
Oh, I have it saved on in my Google Docs.
Nice.
I think that's how I shared it with you. No, I just thought it would be fun to just kind of like pick a random one. I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things. Like I'll just kind of just pick one at random and just like have a conversation with my girlfriend.
Here, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna scroll really fast. I'm gonna flick the scroll on my Google Doc, and I'm gonna just stop on a topic, and we're gonna talk about that one for a minute.
Okay.
And
I also found a good one.
Here, I'm actually gonna bring it up on the screen over here. There it is.
I can't see you, by the way.
You can't see me.
I'm looking at you through Zoom, not Twitch.
All right, let me. Before I do that, let me.
I'm sure it looks great.
Give you my feed so you can see me. I forgot to reconnect my video. My bad. There we go.
Hey.
All right, so I'm gonna zoom really fast. Zoom, and stop. What question do you wish people would ask you? Wow, this is a classic one.
Oh wow.
I've asked this to people.
Yeah, that's something I keep in the back pocket pretty often. I always just want to like check in on people. But for me, I don't know. What about for you?
What question do I wish people asked me? Honestly, I want people to ask me about keytars because I play keytar. Keytar is my favorite instrument, and I'm in the process of building a keytar for y'all to play. One that everybody can buy and own and cherish. Another little thing to cherish.
Love it.
The crystal keytar. So yeah, I want people to ask me about that more.
Yeah, I wanted to say like the pins or music or podcasts. I guess John Mayer. I don't know. I guess you'd want them to just maybe music.
Oh well, actually, the next topic, sponsored by MC Squared Funding the Arts, is what music you vibing with.
All right. I've been vibing with a lot of music. Lately, it's been a lot of Sunset Roller Coaster. They put out an album not too long ago. That's been dope. I've I have to pull up my liked on Spotify. There's just so much. Crumb put out a new album. I've
Nice.
been vibing to that pretty hard. That's really cool.
There's a
Yeah.
restaurant near me called Crumb.
I think that there's a band from Brooklyn. I don't know if there's an affiliation, but that would be dope if there was. Um, a lot of Andrew Bird lately.
Interesting.
I, there's just been so much going on in my life lately that I find listening to Andrew Bird do his thing so calming. It's been putting me to sleep for like the past week.
Wow.
It's beautiful, and there's that moment right before you go to sleep. The length is probably different for everyone. For me, it's like 5 to 10 minutes to just like listen to a song before I slowly like fade away for the night.
Same, yeah.
So I've been working my way through some of his earlier stuff, and it's just it's an interesting way to get into some new music. You know what the artist is about, but you don't know like what to expect. Artists evolve over time, and the earlier stuff sometimes is not as polished as what we're used to or what's coming out now. So for me, it's a journey, and I really look forward to it at night, just putting on some Andrew Bird. So
Andrew Bird. Shout out Andrew Bird. My favorite music to fall asleep to recently has been an ambient artist. Let me pull up my Spotify so I can read the name right. Chihei Hatakeyama. Yes, Chihei Hatakeyama. Shout out. You're the realist. You make very relaxing music. I highly recommend everybody check out their song, which is called I really love Door to the Cosmos, and then the entire album, let me pull it up. This is like some very new age ambient music, but it's like new age and lo-fi. So it's like if you vibe with that, it's perfect. The album is called I think it's an EP.
I got it. All right, I'm gonna like it and listen to it later.
Hell yeah. Singles and EPs. Okay, it's in here. Yeah, okay.
Don't
Check out this one. Coastal Railroads in Memories. Let me show y'all my Spotify right here. Coastal Railroads in Memories by Chihei Hatakeyama.
got it.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So that's my sleeping music right there.
You think maybe that's how we're going to be able to dream together tonight?
Yes. I always have dreams about my topics guests. And every time I have a new guest, they're all added to my dream party. They're all in there.
That would be wild. But like, you'd never think of dreams like that. Like, I wish it would be. It's like you play the game. It would be really cool if blah 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 blah, and it's just like some incredibly crazy, impossible scenario. But
I've never played that, but now I want to play it.
In our dreams, like we're all gonna fall asleep to track 5 of Andrew Bird's Fingerlings, Volume 3.
Hell yeah!
And we're just gonna go like, I don't know, take a walk in some fields and be reflective in our dreams together. Yeah. I don't know, like a dream club or dream chat. I don't know.
I watched an anime this past anime season that like meeting each other in dreams was like a major component. It's called Wonder Egg Priority, and it is lots and lots of trigger warnings for that anime, but it is pretty exciting.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
Hell yeah. So
I check it out.
On the topic of music, that's the kind of music that we're vibing with to go to sleep these days, you and I. But I am interested in you were talking about your looper pedal board earlier. And I want to know what your recording music process is like these days when you go to record music.
That's very interesting. It's one of two things. I'll either be messing around on the guitar and I'll come up with something really cool, whether it's a couple chords or it's a really cool like riff, and then I start building on that by going into Logic and start recording like the guitars and stuff like that, just to get the ideas out of my head and into something that I can save and maybe revisit, like, in the future. And that's typically what I would do, what I've done like my entire life. But right before quarantine last year, I started getting back into it by doing this thing on my Instagram page called the Nightly Noodle. Like, I dubbed it the Nightly Noodle because, noodle, you can noodle on the guitar and whatnot. So I just called it that. And every night after I'd get home from the city, I would just, unwind by playing a little something, something. So it started getting, because music had fallen out of my life. So I started getting back into it, and I started writing music on the bus to work, and I didn't have my guitar or anything like that. So I would mess around with Logic's Smart Drummer and just kind of come up with like cool rhythms and things like that I like. And then I would copy and paste it into a new track. And instead of it being like an acoustic drum set, it would be an actual drum machine. And then I would layer the drum machines for something really cool. And then the guitars start coming in. And then, everything else just starts falling in as I can kind of hear it in my head. But yeah, most of quarantine just started messing around with like beats and just different sounds and looping that and starting that as the foundation versus finding something cool on the guitar. Because I also started I started practicing guitar and like going back to the theory. I downloaded Tom Morello's masterclass.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it really, like, when he was explaining the minor pentatonic scale, this is how ground level I went to. It like opened up, it just opened up a part of my mind that I've never really used. I never really practiced any scales. I didn't know any scales. So when I heard him break it down, I'm like, this is really cool. So I started running through the scales and being able to play them in different positions. And now I know them both by memory, which is awesome. But that allows me the ability to just kind of like figure out like where on the guitar I want to play. I learned to know the guitar better. So I felt like I didn't have to go into songwriting with a guitar line or chord progression or anything like that in mind. Like I just wanted to go into like, let's see what happens in what we create in the spot on the moment. And that's essentially what became my solo record.
That's awesome. Wait, I don't think I've heard your solo record. Is it published?
Not yet. Oh. It's I did a soft release last year when it was all done, but the mixing was just like all over the place. And since then I've rewritten some stuff and I've removed a song and added another one. But it's currently being mixed and mastered, and it will be, yeah, man, it'll be out everywhere under the Nightly Noodle.
The Nightly. Whoa! It actually turned into like an. Is that going to be like the artist name, or is that going to be the album name?
Yep. No, that's going to be the artist name, and the album name is going to be Guitar Noodles.
Nice. That's sick.
I just wanted to go with it. The logo is a bowl of ramen, but instead of chopsticks, it's two Telecaster guitar necks coming out because I play telly.
That's nuts.
I have to make that distinction.
That's awesome.
That's how like the details I got into with it.
Yeah. That's so sick.
It's fun, man.
And speaking of which, our next topic, sponsored by MC² Funding the Arts, is creative ways to release music. I want to hear your ideas for creative ways to release music. I know a lot of people have been utilizing TikTok, of course. artists such as Lil Nas X is absolutely famous for making memes the main packaging for a song release, namely Old Town Road. He's been saying in interviews like, "Oh, I just made 40 memes out of Old Town Road and one of them stuck."
That's crazy.
We as independent artists, we have to look for ways to kind of hack the system because we don't have money to play into the system. So we got to get creative with it. We got to hack it.
You're totally right on that. And it's still, I'm still very new to TikTok. Like I just joined up. I had a guest on my podcast and she was telling me that there's like, like stuff for there's enamel pin content on TikTok. So I'm like, okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
So I started like getting into that. It's still very new to me. The only reason I know who Lil Nas X is because we uploaded, he was on the cover of EW.
Oh, that's crazy.
And we did a video about that. But I've heard that story a couple times. They just spitting out content, and hopefully one thing sticks. And I've seen that kind of work with like my own page, and it's on a much smaller scale. We're not going viral here, but releasing music on Instagram's Reels, similar to TikTok, but doing it through Reels, using that platform like natively, has gotten some pretty good responses on my page. And it's like some of those videos have gotten like 1,000 views or maybe even higher than that. When typically it's just, I'm constantly uploading content and it's only like 100 views, like one of them always takes off. I don't know which one. I still haven't figured out what day or what time it is that it takes off. It's like hard to crack the algorithm. But you do have to keep pushing and find different outlets. And, I thought I was kind of old in my ways with technology and stuff like that, but I find myself even more submerged in it, being having some money in crypto and just like having a lot of fun on some of these newer apps like Clubhouse. Like that's insane. And like the value and stuff like that you can get from there is like unmatched right now. Like I don't think there's any other platform that could deliver like this kind of value without seeing tons of ads or without any kind of paywalls and things like that. And it's an interesting space for music. I don't see a lot of music stuff happening there. I didn't do any deep dives, but I did find a Clubhouse where some dude is just streaming lo-fi music. Nice. Right. And there's like tons of people in that room all the time at any given time. So I think there's a way for artists to like find new ways just by doing a lot of these apps. Like an artist could like stream their new album specifically through Clubhouse to like, I don't know, people who are willing to pay access to get into that room where they can do it for free. I'm sure the organic reach is crazy when they see the artist's name and the amount of people that'll probably jump to the top. There's another app called Collab, which I think is associated with Facebook, but it's geared towards musicians. Yeah. And it's really cool. I would actually recommend you check it out too, Dolphin.
I did check out Collab. One of our previous guests on topic, Spirit Bomb, actually sent me the link to Collab. But I haven't spent a lot of time on it. You're right. I should look into it more.
It's a lot of fun, dude. That some of my music popped off. One of them went viral within the app. It got shared. Like there was a notification that said like, hey, check out this like original tune that's catching fire or something like that. And it was linked to like the thing that I made and everyone started collabing on it. And just all these like so many instruments that I've never seen before were being added to it. Like I would put the chords that I was playing in the description so it would be easy for people to collab with. Yeah. That's the purpose of the app. And it just took off. And I just started doing it. And then I started writing like or recording my own songs on collab to get those popping, and like you can link your Instagram page and you have a bio, and like I'm still getting notifications that people are collabing with that, and that was almost 2 months ago. It was just, there's lots of apps there, so you just kind of have to be willing to, I guess, just put in the work.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna look deeply into collab and Clubhouse as new creative ways to release music. I think that's very interesting. You make a lot of really good points. We've reached our lightning round point of the show.
Okay.
Because we've been on for about an hour now, and also this session of our video chat will also end in 10 minutes. So we've got about 9 minutes actually. So let's.
Oh, awesome! We actually have a counter too. All right, let's go.
Yeah. All right. Lightning round. All right. Pleasure and pain as a content creator. Go. Oh, also hosted by MC Squared, funding the arts.
Yeah. Woo woo. Pain. The amount of hours it takes to create a simple piece of content.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure. Seeing the likes pour in.
Yeah. I love the DMs where people are like, yeah, that's the shit. And then you're like, I stayed up all night working on that. Oh my God.
Yeah. Facts. Whatever the CTA is, just seeing the CTA pop off.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What does CTA stand for people that don't know?
Click-through rate. So it's just kind of like a metric that's used on various platforms to see if people are clicking and watching your content.
Hell yeah. All right, next topic, sponsored by MC Squared Funding the Arts. The challenges of switching back and forth between photography and videography.
The gear, man. The gear is just so different. You just got to lug whether it's video or photo, you're lugging something.
The tripod heads really are challenging. And then also capturing like the dynamic of like an object or a subject is different for video and photo, because video, you could just move the perspective in the clip. With photo, it's just a photo. You can't move.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out how to capture the whole of the subject in that image.
And lighting for both of them is just so different and just so
much
intense.
More expensive for video.
Yes.
And hot. It's much hotter.
Dude, yeah, we have a history of making some hot videos together.
Literally. Oh, man. Yo, Wallace Roney, he was definitely feeling those video lights, hot in his skin. Rest in peace.
Yes. Oh, man.
Yeah. And like everybody else who ever was under those video lights.
Good times. Good times.
Mostly good times. Stressful, but good.
Yes.
Lessons learned from working at the piano factory. You and I worked at the same piano factory in the social media department.
Yes. The piano company, which shall be remade. I can't even talk. Vintage Vibe.
Vintage Vibe. Shout out.
Yeah, they're good guys.
Very talented and skillful and knowledgeable.
Yes, very knowledgeable. Chris has always kind of tried. I don't want to say tried. Chris has always been like a really great mentor for when it comes to business or real estate or just personal things. So he's given me a lot of freedom to kind of do what I do. Because with that freedom comes results. I'm personally invested in a lot of these things, like he allowed me to like buy all this equipment and the background paper and set up one of the back rooms. So, I guess learning to believe in myself and my talent, he was willing to not only pay me a salary, but also like buy all this equipment and stuff like that. So I had the tools necessary to do what I do. And that empowered me to my next jobs, and it brought me to where I am now. So I'd say that and trying to manage time.
Definitely trying to manage time. Chris, and you too, were definitely put the pressure on me to get better at being on time for things. which is important in life, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of my journeys in life. Um, yeah, I agree with what you said about Chris, who owns Vintage Vibe. He he like hit me up and he was like, "Hey, do you want to work on some videos for us?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "All right." And we were talking, and I was like, I'm not really doing freelance right now. I'm kind of looking for a job, like with like a salary." And he was like, "All right, what do you want?" And he just gave it to me, and I was like, "Whoa, respect, crazy."
Yeah. Well, I mean, he knew how like important it was, and I think at that point you had already done some work with Vintage Vibe,
I
so
filmed a
there was
documentary about him. Yeah.
an award-winning documentary.
Hey.
Absolutely. So there was already like an established connection there, and dude, I needed the help.
Yeah.
You know how many videos we did in whatever time that we worked together. It was a lot. You
If
know,
if you and I ever got the chance again to work on like video projects together, based on all the additional experience we have since we've worked together, we would be a like an ultra powerhouse. It'd be crazy.
crazy efficient.
Yeah. Um. Next topic, sponsored by MC Squared Funding the Arts. Invent a holiday.
um, does National Enamel Pin Day exist?
It should.
It really should.
I'd sign off to that. I was talking to the full dolphin family, Mama Dolphin, Grandmama Dolphin, Grandpapa Dolphin, Aunt Dolphin, and Squid. We were all talking. I love all those guys, and they came
Your
up with some
pod's
really
doing good.
hell yeah, the whole pod, and they were coming up with some good holidays. I think what did I say? My holiday was International Half Day Work Week. So for the whole week in the whole world, everybody only has to work half the day.
Oh, I like that. I like that. See, that's good. That's creative.
I feel like that would allow society to finally realize that we do not need a 40-hour work week with how efficient
Oh
our
my
society is.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. I'm an advocate for that 37, 35.
It's going to keep going down. We just have to keep pushing for it. Next topic, sponsored by MC Squared Funding the Arts. The quest for the perfect French fry update.
Yes.
From
yes.
yours truly, Dolphin Uppercut
me.
Avenger. So, Eric asked me about this earlier today, and I have an update. So, I found yet another restaurant at the coastal New Jersey that sells the same batter coated French fry from
Ooh.
the same restaurant supply company, Sergio's in Long Branch, New Jersey, which also has a good skate park there. Sergio's has the same batter coated French fries. So now you can go to Wonder Bar in Asbury Park, Princess Maria Diner in Seagirt Wall. You can go to Sergio's in Long Branch, and you can go to the Inkwell also in Long Branch. They all have the same perfect French fry, and I haven't been able to find a French fry that beats it yet. But they all get it from the same restaurant supply company, and I got to figure out the name of it.
That's incredible. Yeah, I'm making note of this right now. I want to try these French fries. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are these French fries?
They're like a 9. I'm saving 10 to see if it gets beaten, but
You have to. That's smart.
yeah. And then also I learned how to make really delicious oven French fries, riffing off of a bunch of YouTube videos. Basically, if you boil the potatoes in slightly vinegary water before you bake them, they are less likely to just fall apart, but they also get fluffier and crispier. And that's J. Kenji Alt Lopez's McDonald's French fry recipe. I was riffing off of his recipe plus the YouTube recipes to make an oven French fry because I rarely deep fry at home. Rarely.
That sounds so good.
Let's see. And the last topic of the night, not sponsored by MC Squared Funding the Arts, but shout out to them anyway. This one is sponsored by Virtua94, an update on the Sonic Adventure 2 compilation. Do you know Sonic Adventure 2?
Yes.
For the Sega Dreamcast and for GameCube? Lost Eric. Jump back in again. We're going to bring Eric back. Jeez, I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was coming. I wanted to see how much we could milk that.
Yeah.
Let me bring you back into the video because you're frozen on the video wall. Zoom bridge, start. You're good. You don't have to change anything. Admit. And I'm going to pin you so you don't go away. Good. All right. So you know about Sonic Adventure 2 for Dreamcast and GameCube.
Yes, sir.
Sonic and Shadow. You know the whole deal.
I don't know if I played that one, but I probably played it actually.
Well,
I love Sonic.
Oh, Sonic's the best.
I don't know if I love Sonic like you, but I like Sonic.
No, I like
no.
I like Sonic Adventure 2 specifically, like you like most, like the Ninja Turtle stuff, like in general.
Got you. All right.
I'm mostly about Sonic Adventure 2 in terms of the whole series. But anyway, we're covering the soundtrack. We're actually at Virtua94, where a bunch of artists are covering the soundtrack. Theorister has a great cover. He has got multiple covers on there. I've got multiple covers. Mr. Hideyoshi, Slowkey, the whole team. That's coming out for the 20-year anniversary of Sonic Adventure 2 on June 19th this year. So next month, June 19th, we're going to have a whole cover album of Sonic Adventure 2 songs. So like we got Live and Learn, and we've got Rolling Around at the Speed of Sound, and we've got You Know Me, the Fighting Freak Knuckles, and we at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? We got the whole freaking thing.
Yo, that's a day before my birthday. Thank you so much for being so thoughtful with your gifts. That's gonna be awesome, dude.
Hell yeah. I gotta bring that up. We've been working really hard on this project, and we can't wait to premiere it next month. Hell yeah.
Definitely keep me updated. Hey, I think it was on your YouTube channel. You did a performance, and it was like a 15-20 minute kind of live set thing. You had Sonic going on in the background.
Yep.
That ish was dope. I watched it like early in the morning, I got that fresh energy and feeling good. And then I watched that video. I'm like, holy shit, man. Dolphin is incredible.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was actually part of a Twitch concert that we did at Virtua94 to promote this compilation. And we actually got some more people interested in submitting their cover songs. So that concert was a huge success, and I had a lot of fun playing that set. I'm trying to, Bon Iver. You're well familiar with Bon Iver's music, right?
Yes.
I was kind of riffing off of something that Justin Vernon was saying about like making concerts into like special events, whereas like because we're in this digital age where concerts end up on YouTube like the second they're happening. How do you more incentivize the concerts? And I really want to focus, whenever I do concerts, I want to focus on making them feel like they're a special event with special edits and remixes and covers that you would miss if you didn't go to that show. But that also means being really efficient making those sets. So that's a strategy that I'm going to be thinking about. So I'm glad that it sold really well, in that that YouTube performance, that the Twitch YouTube performance that you saw.
That was awesome. And I mean, you got it locked in, man. Like that was a vibe. Everything about it was a vibe. It was very interactive. The guitar solo was insane, dude.
Yo, thanks, man.
It was quite the performance. It really was like a performance.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, that's the crystal guitar that I was talking about before. That's prototype 0.
No snap.
Yeah. Oh well. Let me just pull it up and show the camera. This is crystal guitar 0.
Things I wish people would ask me about.
Yeah, exactly. And the main point of the Crystal Guitar 0 project is having a guitar instrument be something that musicians cherish, not like a throwaway piece of plastic, piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
And also the pitch expression. I had a vision in my head of like, oh, you know when like guitarists do like really crazy stuff with like the guitar string, and you can see their hand flying across the fingerboard and affecting the strings, bending the strings, sliding up and down the fretboard, and you can hear what's going on in your ears. So there's the cross-modal synthesis between what you're seeing and what you're hearing. And I'm like, guitar, when people play guitar, it doesn't look like anything. Their fingers are wiggling like a little bit. So with the crystal guitar, I wanted to be able to be very expressive and very physical with the pitch expression on the guitar. So you see me doing like pitch dives with my hand, and it actually affects the sound. It's not just for show.
Wow, that's really cool. I'm gonna go back and watch that video then.
Hell yeah.
I love that explanation. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That is dope.
I augmented a vintage Korg guitar from the 80s with a MIDI controller and some custom software to turn it into an expressive instrument. But it's very fragile because I didn't really secure the MIDI controller on super well. So the next version of the Crystal Guitar Initium, will be a tour-ready instrument and approaching the point that we'll be able to actually produce multiple models and put them in the hands of very special musicians out there who want to play guitar very passionately like myself.
That's incredible, man.
Hell yeah.
Let me give it up to you. That's only you, man. That's awesome. I love it. I love when people go all in on stuff like that.
That's probably another lesson learned from the Piano Factory.
Going all in?
Going all in on like a niche period.
Yeah. Oh, life lesson. Definitely double down on a niche. No matter, like, that's the key to success. That's like when I started Warrior Pins, I wanted to do all sorts of pins. I wanted to do basketball pins. I wanted to do whale pins. I wanted to do Ninja Turtle pins. The Ninja Turtle pins, those are the ones that were sticking. I had to focus on that niche and that niche only. And then here we are. I'm known as like the turtle pin guy.
Hell yeah.
That goes for the podcasts, super niche podcasts. Those are the ones that do really well. I got one about enamel pins. It's like a triple whammy of niches.
Yeah.
So we definitely learned that at Vintage Vibe with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're allowed to say.
Chris, if you're listening to this, I saw the custom reed piano. I saw the picture of it. It's still public on Instagram. I want to hear it. I know it's going to just sound like one of your amazing Wurlitzer repair mods, but I want to see the Vintage Vibe reed piano in action. I want to see it. Put out the video.
Wait.
What?
Hold up. Is this blue? Are we talking about that blue one? 44 note reed piano.
It's the only Vintage Vibe brand reed piano that I've ever seen. They put it up on Instagram like last month or something, and no video. I want to see the video, Chris. If you're listening, Chris,
stop it. Hold on, you're gonna laugh when I tell you this.
What happened? Did somebody break it? Is that why they couldn't film it?
I've actually so I'm helping them out kind of with their YouTube page right now.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
actually like trying to like optimize it and clean it up and things like that, and apply some best practices that I've learned throughout the years.
Okay.
Today, I shit you not, today
Oh my
was
God.
the day that I went into that video to start optimizing the metadata and things like that.
Oh my God.
The video you're looking for is on YouTube, and I optimized it.
Is it on there right now?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't look at social media today. I was too busy working on the topics.
It didn't get uploaded today. I don't know when the upload date is, but
it's not public yet. But you uploaded
it's public.
Oh, it's
there.
public.
I just went in and re-optimized it, like changed the title, added some tags and things like that. Tried to, see if we can get some organic reach with it.
Wait, let me make sure we're talking about the same thing. Are you talking about? Yes, there it is. Custom 44 note Wurlitzer electric piano demo, and it's got the Vintage Vibe logo on the front instead of the Wurlitzer logo.
Yeah, 1,800 views
from 3 months ago. Damn. Is it on Instagram too? Because that's where I saw it advertised first.
Nah, I don't know, man. I'm not really part of the Instagram strategy.
God damn. Yeah, I don't think they can hear it, but let me just listen to it. I'm so curious. I've been waiting for this video. Yeah.
For the record, I just want to say it's a great video. But working with you, Dolph,
yeah,
we could have made a killer. We could have made some killer content if we were still doing our thing over there.
Was that piano project, that Wurlitzer, the Vintage Vibe reed piano? Is that something that somebody ordered, or was that something that the team was like, we got to make an original reed piano. We've got all the parts. We've got all the resources. We got to do it. It's going to be awesome.
I think it was a little bit of both. I know that's always been an idea and a thing.
I've talked to Chris about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the description said that the customer selected the lid color and stuff like that. So I think it was sold. So I think someone bought it. I don't know the whole story behind it, but really cool Frankenstein electric piano.
Yeah. Well, Frankenstein's definitely a word that describes what happens with it, because they've been in the parts game for so long, making really awesome quality parts. Chris, and I don't compliment past employers just because I worked for them. I compliment them on stuff that I saw and experienced and appreciated. And Chris and the team at Vintage Vibe, they obsess over the quality and the fine details regarding electric pianos and clavinets and just any electromechanical instrument that they put their hands on. They obsess over it to the point where they've manufactured actually awesome replacement parts. And I guess based on what I've seen from this piano, and Chris could speak better for it, maybe we'll get him on topics too. That'd be cool.
Yo.
I suppose that this Vintage Vibe Wurlitzer piano came about the same way as the Vintage Vibe Time piano, that they were manufacturing replacement parts that were so good that they were just like, well, we've got all the parts, let's just make our own original instrument.
Yeah, that's more or less probably how it came about. I know they also had a bunch of old Wurlitzers, you get all these old pianos that you buy for cheap. Mm-hmm. Because there's structural damage or the electronics are missing. So they definitely had spare original parts to kind of Frankenstein together this piano
to complete it.
Yeah. And that's just so cool. I'm sure that there's tons of vintage parts in there, but they also manufacture new parts. And I don't know, maybe there's new stuff under the hood, but yeah, being there, I think I was there for 5 years. Seen a lot of cool stuff, and you see the dreams
Yeah.
you know, being lived out and seeing all the money and all the time that goes into it, all the stress, all the anger, all the joys and all the success. Like
All of those emotions were things I experienced in the 1 year that I worked for Vintage Vibe.
Yep. Yeah, it's all over the place. But you
I
know,
I went from Vintage Vibe to work at like a corporation for another day job.
sold
And
out for a bigger paycheck.
I would
I did the
much
same thing.
yeah. um I won't talk much about that other company. But the Vintage Vibe experience, where you saw all of the most human elements of that company while working for a smaller company that's just trying to work with the resources that they got the best they can, try and be as efficient as they possibly can. I'd much rather see all of those very human elements reflected in the work, because it showed and you could trace the passion in those instruments, especially because like people are passionate about their musical instruments. These were premium instruments, like the most premium of electromechanical instruments that you can get your hands on.
Literally. Yes.
You can't, there's no other company that does this. They, again, it's that niche. They focused on the niche. So yeah, they know what they're doing over there, and I like seeing the passion. I like to be able to trace the passion in the product. I have some like MIDI controllers that were like assembled like by hand in boutique shops. Like the MIDI fighter. People, a lot of electronic musicians know about the MIDI fighter. Like they sent me like a Polaroid photo of them assembling it, and I was like, yeah, I knew I liked this company.
Did you have that delivered to Vintage? I remember you had that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
opened it at the desk. We were
Yeah.
editing videos as we did. We were probably like wrapping up from like a photo shoot with some pianos, working on, you know, the Shopify and stuff, and then like package delivery. Holy shit, it's a
Yeah.
MIDI fighter.
I remember. Now that you mentioned the Polaroid, I distinctly remember that Polaroid.
If there's a box right behind my shoulder in my stash of aquatic resources, and somewhere in that box is that Polaroid.
I love it. That's really cool. Yeah, that thing is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm getting into keyboards now, like mechanical keyboards you plug into like computer and type with.
Nice. I want to actually include some of the things I learned about mechanical keyboards in the Crystal Keytar.
Oh, tell me more.
Very quickly, there's
Yeah.
a couple different examples of mechanical keyboards, computer keyboards, that used Hall effect sensors instead of whatever most mechanical keyboards use as their main function. So a Hall effect sensor it senses magnetic field. So I actually have an instrument that uses the Hall effect, and I can show you real quick.
Interesting.
Shout out to these guys. So this is the Continu Mini, and it's the mini version of the Continuum instrument. But if you look in the camera, it's this red continuous keyboard, and you could see the entire surface of the Continu Mini actually moves up and down, and it's just suspended by strings and floating there inside of the casing. And let me hold it up to my second camera here. And there's magnets attached to this plate, and there are sensors on the bottom of the casing. So the Hall effect sensors can sense the magnet moving closer and further away. And that's how you get the tracking on like where your finger is on the board. It's a combination of a like a touch strip potentiometer plus the Hall effect sensors, and then it's able to place your finger on it, and it knows how hard you're pressing, how fast you're pressing it,
Wow.
And there are computer keyboards, the Wooting, Wooting, the Wooting keyboard actually uses Hall effect keys. So not only can your computer keyboard, if you have one of these, not only can it sense when you've pressed it down all the way, but it can sense where the key is in its travel. And I'm like, wouldn't that be a cool type of controller to have on the crystal keytar? Somewhere like on the neck, so that your hands can focus on the piano keys and your fingers now have these like keyboard buttons that not only you can press as like a switch on off, but you also get the expression of the entire travel of the key as like an analog signal instead of a digital on off. And then furthermore, you could probably manufacture your own piano keyboard that instead of using electrical switches has magnets and Hall effect sensors so that you can play keys expressively, like the new what's the name of that keyboard that can sense where the key is in its travel? The Osmos board? Yes, the Osmos Expressive E. The Osmos Expressive E is a piano keyboard that uses probably Hall effect sensors that you can see, like the keyboard knows how much you're actually pressing the key. And you can use that for expression.
That is pretty cool.
That's me ranting about the keytar. Again, I want people to ask me more about the crystal keytar.
But like that's how in depth I want to get with mechanical keyboards. That's really cool though. I just learned something.
Hell yeah. But yeah, it's really the Wooting keyboard is I think it was like sold out, and I don't know what their production future looks like now.
They hurting from COVID?
Hell yeah. What the fuck were we talking about? Before we wrap it up, I've got 2 more topics sponsored by MC Squared, funding the arts. Shout out to those guys. Their logo's still there in the bottom.
Doubling down on niche. On a niche.
Our niche. Niche.
Got it.
What do you think is the most niche pronunciation of niche? Is it niche or niche?
I use niche. I think typically I use niche.
But which one is the most niche? Is it niche or niche? Which one's more niche? Niche or niche?
Niche.
You think so?
I have no idea, dude. Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a great icebreaker.
That was not the topic, but that became a topic really fast. The actual topic was crystal keytar live visuals. Have you ever seen those MIDI piano tutorials on YouTube where like you can see the visual of like the keyboard being hit and then like the note length kind of travels up as if it was like Guitar Hero for piano?
No, but I feel like I can kind of picture it.
So I've got I can't show you, but basically I want to, with the crystal keytar, I want to be able to have you plug the crystal keytar itself into like a monitor or a video projector so that you can show people all of the notes that you're playing and the expression without having to download software. I want there to be like an HDMI port on the crystal keytar to show keytar visuals.
Yo, that's really cool. That could be a lot of fun. Yo.
And
that's tight.
Especially if you're working with like a visual artist or a VJ at like a concert, you could then give them the feed from the crystal keytar and they could mix it into the sick visuals, you know?
Dude, I don't know if I ever would have thought of that. That sounds really cool though. I wish guitars could do that.
I have
in their guitar way.
Yeah, right? Like kind of like that guitar video game that's popular now. What is it, like Guitar Shop or Guitar? It's not Guitar Hero.
There's a new one? I'm not aware.
if I type in guitar video game with real guitar, Rocksmith. It's called Rocksmith.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So basically, it would be like the Rocksmith visuals, but in reverse. Instead of you're trying to hit those notes, it's as you're playing it, people can see in the video projection from your HDMI output what you're actually, the notes you're actually playing, and the pitch bend and the expression and the sustain, so that they know you're playing that shit live. You're not faking it. It's not a toy. It's an instrument. That's why that video output from the crystal guitar is important to me. I want this to be like the first instrument that shows people you're not faking, that you're actually playing.
Damn, yo, we got a visionary on today's show.
Stop.
I love it. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's thinking outside the box. That's doubling down on that niche.
The niche. The niche.
The niche.
And then our final topic for the night, because it is now 8:30 Eastern time. We've had a healthy discussion. I just want to say how much I cherish this conversation I've had with Erick from Orca Pins.
Likewise, Dolphin. It's always a pleasure getting to talk with you. It's always a good time.
And our final topic, I want to hear about the podcast that you've mentioned a bunch of times in this conversation. Sponsored by MC Squared Funding the Arts.
Yes, sponsored by MC Squared
Funding the Arts. Yeah.
The podcast, doubling down on a niche, is a podcast about enamel pins. It's called Pin Pals. And I interview other pin makers to better understand their journey through the pin game, from making pins, like the actual process of getting pins made. Don't show that page. That's unrelated. That's an old, like, I used to call my friends that I wanted to show off on my website, my pin pals. That was the original idea, and then eventually it just spawned into a podcast, because all of these guests that I have on, I've interacted with them in some sort of way, whether it's through trading pins on Instagram, just being fans of their pins. Yes, there it is. I think if you go to pinpalspodcast.com, it should bring up our anchor page, which gives you like all the links to be able to download it. But it's been really fun. A quarantine project. I was also unemployed for 6 months during the quarantine. There it is.
Awesome.
And I've had this idea in my head for a while, and I had the time to actually do it. So I learned how to podcast by Googling, how do I start a podcast? And I kind of had a gist of how to do it. Just lined up the guests. It was just a matter of, I adopted the motto, done is better than perfect. I could have spent hours and hours and hours tweaking the artwork and the audio and twisting and turning all these ideas, but I really just made it straightforward, simple. It's fun. I love it. Season 2 just dropped today with Adventure Society. It's just hour-long conversations with pin makers, just one-on-one, from one pin maker to another. You know, we're speaking like the same language. So it's a really cool listen for other pin makers. It's a great listen for those looking to get into the pin game. There's a ton of value. I'm always asking them, what are some tips you wish you'd known when you started? We do some fun rapid fire. I end the podcast by asking what are the little things in life for them to kind of tie it all back into pins. And it's a good time despite the 12 likes. You know, this is still very new. It's a lot of fun. Niche audiences tend to be really small by nature. So we're having fun, and the people listening are really enjoying the podcast.
Look at this pre-haircut Erick.
Oh yeah, and it gets longer too. But yeah, it got pretty long there.
Erick got a
you
fresh
actually
haircut
see
today.
me get a haircut through the season.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's pretty funny.
Awesome. That sounds like a great podcast. Everybody check out pinpalspodcast.com. You can find it on all those platforms that we just talked about. App Store.
And the
Google
video
Play.
version is now on YouTube, so you can do that thing too.
Oh, frick yeah. I love that. So also check them out on YouTube. That's awesome. What a great way to close off topics. I really like seeing stuff like that. Looks like you got a great project there. I'm gonna listen in. Yeah, cool.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Thanks for having me. This was a good time.
Hell
Anytime.
yeah.
I'm always happy to get on here and talk and just catch up, man. See how you're doing. Maybe ask about your crystal guitar.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. Thank
I'll
you.
need an
Thank you so
update.
much. So
Yeah, man.
I give the final word to my guest, but real quick, I'm Dolphin Uppercut Avenger. This is Topics with Dolphin Uppercut Avenger. Tonight was featuring Erick from Warrior Pins. There's our wonderful guest, Erick, right here with the lovely haircut. Awesome. And final words, yours, Erick. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to my Instagram page at Roman Warrior to follow me in all my creative projects. I don't know how to sign this off. This is kind of weird. I didn't have anything prepared. Just be yourself. Do what makes you happy. If there's something that you want to do, just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to get out there and you just got to push and you got to create. You got to get through the long nights and the early mornings and the shutdowns and the disappointments, but just persevere and you'll get through it. Done is better than perfect. It's the little things in life. Listen to my podcast, Buy My Pins.
Good night, everyone.
Peace.